This is Cookie Talk Shit. This is great. This is the first one. So it's going to suck. But mainly on my end, they're going to do great.
I'm going to be perfect.
Yeah, fantastic. He's always perfect. And he's 23.
There you go.
I am.
Yes. Zero Botox ever.
There you go. There you go.
So introduce yourself, guys. I guess that's a thing. I don't know.
My name is Frank Cook. I am I guess I say a 2022 Mr. Tennessee Classic Physique overall champ. Been blessed to be here in Tennessee for 3 years. Been busting my butt here on the bodybuilding side of the fence since before 2009.
So you've been bodybuilding that long?
Yeah, even before then, honestly. Since 2000. It was a little bit, about around that time.
When's your first competition?
My first competition was 2009.
Okay, cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and just got on, got off over those years, and then finally, I think moving here was what re-energized that whole thing of making that actual thing work for me and be able to have the balance of my professional work life, my personal social life, and having the bodybuilding life all together and able to make it work. And once that happened, it was like, it still worked, but it's work that is enjoyable and it's something that I love doing. And I cannot see myself doing anything else. I really cannot see myself doing anything else. So, yeah, I'm a mechanical engineer by day. I work doing refrigeration work basically for a Japanese company. They pay the bills. So, yeah, that's.
You look good on paper.
It looks good. It looks great on paper, don't it? Yeah, when you write it down. Yeah. I think it's so much written on that piece of paper. That's what it is. So,
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm Andrew, and I'm a homosexual.
No.
Yes.
Steal sloths in your free time.
I steal sloths and kittens. My name's Andrew. I'm an aspiring bodybuilder, but I'm one of those bodybuilders that is very nervous about getting on stage. I'm very self-conscious about how I look. I get a lot of compliments, not trying to toot my own horn, but I do. And I get a lot of questions of, when are you going to compete? Have you competed? I want to. I really want to, really, really bad, but my nerves will not allow me to do it. Like, speaking about it right now, my heart rate is going, and it's uncomfortable, and I don't know how I'm going to get out of that. But with Frank by my side and my very good close friends by my side, they all have been very encouraging and wanting me to succeed. I've never had anyone tell me what I'm trying to inspire to do was ever bad or stupid or dumb or a waste of time. I'm at 43 years old, and I know that I have more time, behind you than I do in front of me. It's dwindling down. And being a bodybuilder is something that I've always wanted to do. Even in fact, that infatuation started when I was 17 years old in 1997. And my first time into a real gym was in Jacksonville, Florida. And my high school math teacher, Dwayne Hagstrom, asked me if I wanted to go to the gym with him. And I said, yeah. He was a bodybuilder, and he still is very much into bodybuilding till this day. And he really got me influenced in going to the gym. And it's been something that, and whoever's listening, I know that they will understand. The gym is something that is going to be ingrained in you. It will be there for your ups, your downs. It's been there from the very beginning. It will be there till the end. And I can imagine that I will be one of those old guys at 82, still doing my curls with 10 pounds, trying to keep my muscle memory going. I will be that person. So that's the kind of bodybuilder that I am. So I guess I'm the shy bodybuilder, if you will, that's trying to get on stage, but
Are you wanting to compete?
I want to compete really, really bad. I want to.
We think he's going to be great with physique.
Okay.
Because he has good presence and he can model really well.
Cool.
So I think that's where his forte is. And but if he starts developing more and starts kind of wanting to do more, we would definitely support it to see what he does.
My first competition, I was 19. It was a natural show, so it was tiny.
Oh, wow,
and so like I know there are like other divisions besides like NPC where like you can get going where there's like 20 people in the stands, you know, or something.
Right.
Yeah, that could help, you know, maybe or something. But I think you should. I mean, you know, I'm sure everyone tells you that. But,
yeah, and I mean, and I have a coach. I'm paying him a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I don't utilize him.
I mean, we all have our starts and stops.
Right.
Yeah, it's seasonal, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, and things have been going on personally, nothing bad, you know, but just life, you know. And now I'm starting back into it. My coach understands. Doug Porterfield, name drop, and yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, it seems like a thing.
Yeah. But
biggest country accent I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So cool though.
Yeah, he does not look how he sounds.
No.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
No, he is yeah, you know, but yeah, I want to. I'm getting back into it slowly but surely, and you know, we'll see where 2023 takes me.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah.
So, when'd you guys meet? Or like how? I'm curious.
Online.
We met in a cocktail bar.
No.
This much is true.
No, not at all.
all the 80 babies know exactly where that's from.
Oh God, yeah. No, we actually started communicating on Instagram. Yeah, okay. And it was kind of off.
Yeah.
Because it was during the holiday season.
It was during the holiday
right before
season.
the holiday season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I think I was getting ready to go home at the time to go visit my folks. I think I hit you up first.
No.
Oh.
No, it was the other way around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I so what really happened was
he's got the DM to prove it. Yeah.
We actually did meet on Instagram. That was true. Based on his Instagram profiles and his pictures, I wasn't sure where he was at.
If I was
you know, and then my Instagram, you can't tell either. So we just more or less started having conversation.
Hey, bro.
What's
I wasn't sure either.
Bro.
Yeah.
How much you bitch, bro?
Hey, bro.
You want to work out sometime?
Yeah, we need to work out sometime.
Yeah.
What gym do you go to?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what guys and girls do too.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we should get a lift in. So everybody that knows,
you know, the straight world, not that different.
Not that different. Not that different at all.
But we met and then we stopped speaking.
Yeah, it was months. Matter of fact, it wasn't so. We was I know that I was getting ready for my hernia surgery at the time.
Yes, you were getting ready for surgery.
I was getting ready for my hernia surgery at the time, so I basically was between that Christmas holiday and before then, I was kind of like trying to decide if I was going to have the surgery, and then getting ready for the surgery, and then having the surgery, kind of in the air of different things. So I was really preoccupied with everything, with all that mess. And then trying to balance work and like, okay, well, I just got my butt kicked in a bodybuilding show, so let's go ahead and have the surgery done.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
And during my time, while he was going through that, I was going through my thing. Keeping it real, I'm not natural. And my then coach, who has passed away, he had me on a lot of stuff. And because I was on a lot of stuff, mentally I wasn't ready for anything. My brain was all over the place.
I'm thinking too much too.
Yeah, and it really messed me up. Mentally, it messed me up.
And you don't realize that part of it, really.
No.
You never realize it until you kind of get outside yourself.
Yeah. Right.
Like with trend, for me, it almost like helps drive me at first. Like I wake up earlier, like I have more intense workouts.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, I work harder, but then I start getting fucking burnt out and shit.
Yes.
Know? And then I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's
and
exactly
when
right.
I've been on trend, I I steer away from it. I see dead people on it. I have seen purple elephants walking backwards in my hallway.
Like, seriously?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
It's real.
Don't do that. Don't do that anymore. Yeah.
I know I had the night sweats really bad, and I know I had I didn't have the hallucinations, but I just was like, I know I was in my feelings a lot.
Yes.
I was in my feelings way too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had, that was one of the things that when we talked about, training and stuff like that, I was like, Frank, we're gonna cut it out as much as we possibly can.
Right. And I just it after seeing what I saw hallucinated, it messed me up because I saw some stuff at night in the dark alone.
I get that.
I stayed up for about 3 nights. I did not go to sleep.
That's another thing. It took away my sleep a lot. It did. I mean, I had the night sweats. I think were part of that reasoning. I was always sweating so much. I was like, I just can't go to sleep. I can't get comfortable.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep.
So anyway.
Yeah. Sorry.
So he had a surgery. I was coming down off of whatever I was on, and I was able to think a little bit clearer. And I remember the day that I was texting him. I was cleaning up my bedroom, and I said, "What happened to that guy I was talking to? There's a guy I was talking to. What's his name? Fred." And I'm like, "Oh, he's in here somewhere." And I was like, "Oh, there he is, all the way at the bottom." So I went ahead.
All the way.
Not all the. I meant he was halfway through, in the middle, closer to the bottom. And I texted him, and he remembered me, and then that was really it. We just kind of
just took off.
Took off from there. We would talk damn near every day.
Every morning before I would go to work. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like at work. You know how it is when you first meet somebody. You just
and it's not weird. And then like after a few weeks, you're like, am I bugging them?
Exactly. How much is and sometime in July is when he first came down.
Yeah, because at the time, and I forgot to tell them, I was actually living in Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was a 2-hour drive. Okay. And how I found out he lived in Lebanon was that I asked him, I'm like, well, where do you live? He's like, I'm in Lebanon. I'm like, Lebanon what? He's like, Lebanon, Tennessee. And I said, that's not too far from Murfreesboro. He was like, no, that's down the street. I was like, my parents live in Murfreesboro.
Oh, that's cool.
I pass by Lebanon all the time. He's like, yeah, I live by the outlet mall. I'm like, yeah, I know where that is. And he asked me to come visit, and I did. And
there's actually a story behind even with that.
Yeah, because we almost never met.
Yeah.
We almost didn't meet.
I feel like that happens a lot.
Yeah. Well,
like
it was my fault. It was completely my fault.
You were the flaky one.
Oh no, it's not one flaky. It wasn't flaky. It wasn't flaky.
Yes.
No, it wasn't flaky.
Yes.
I was asleep. I fell asleep on the way up when he was on his way up. I had been cleaning up and doing all this stuff, getting everything set up. So I was like, okay, I'm good now. Let me sit on the couch and wait and just chill and wait for him.
And the apartment complex is a gated community.
Oh shit.
Well, I couldn't find it at first, but then I found it and I could not get in. And so I circled back around to the gas station and I called him, and he didn't answer. So then I drove back to the apartment complex, and I'm trying to wait for someone to get in to follow them. Nobody was showing up. It was only 8:30 at night. I called them again, no answer. I drove back to the gas station, and I said to myself verbatimly, if he doesn't answer the phone, I'm turning back around, and I'm never speaking to him again.
Oh shit.
And right,
we know how that ended now, didn't we?
And right after I came from going in getting my Danish and my Red Bull, I called and he answered. And he said, "Turn back around. The gate code is," and that was it.
That was it. So
Yeah.
that was great. Yeah, awesome. And just from that point forward, I don't know how. You just kind of you click. And when you click, it just
feels right.
It just feels right. It's cool. Everything just kind of just lines itself up in such a way. I mean, a lot of work into, and like any relationship is always a lot of work. But just like anything, no different. Yeah, and fast forward to now. Freaking engaged.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So
so it's like you you know, you just kind of just one day at a time type of thing, and just go and just have fun with it.
Right.
And you never realize like we literally just, like I said, how much you lift, bro, type of situation to now.
Now, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I feel like that's hard, like probably much harder than like the gay community because you have to, you don't know for sure with some guys.
some
You know,
yeah,
kind
for
of
sure
thing.
that, and like me, I can speak for myself. I don't meet people for a specific, just like I'm not a jump off guy.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm talking to somebody, my mind is automatically like, not automatically in relationship mode, but I'm looking at what type of future you have.
Future, yeah.
What type of
I'm
future
kinda
you have.
the same way, yeah.
What kind of future you want to have.
It's like, you don't want to waste your time.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, because
exactly.
we're guys of a particular age group, and
Speak for your
again,
fucking self.
okay, and so
Who's older?
I'm 48, so it's just
yeah. So, but I mean, guys in our age group, we don't have a lot of time like we did in our 20s. Not saying that we're better than anybody, or
no.
to say
We know
that
plenty of
time
people our
is
age
different.
that are way much more buck wild than we could ever be.
Yeah. So we're just very fortunate. But to go back into the bodybuilding side of things, I was very fortunate to find someone who was into bodybuilding just as much as I was. And I think that actually created more of a dynamic of our relationship because we do have that common bond and that common interest and connection.
Right.
It's very like
To the point where it was
thing,
even
kinda,
and to
like
the
a
point
lot of
it's
people
like
do.
it actually built itself even more because my motivation is not just my own anymore.
Right.
It's building with him, and then at the same time with him seeing what he can do and building him up as well. So we kind of just feed off each other. And next thing you know, there we are. I give a lot of my credit to the accomplishment I made this year in this bodybuilding, Mr. Tennessee. Without him, and he'll say, no, you did all the work. But the truth of the matter is, he was a backbone.
Oh, yeah, it's always the late nights and early mornings.
Exactly. He puts up with all of that.
Yeah,
He puts up with all of that.
He
I mean,
supports it.
he literally told me, matter of fact, months ago, while we was getting at the very end of the show, he's like,
Absolutely.
at the end of the prep, he was telling me, Frank, if I would have met Prep Frank, we would not be dead.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because it's such a
day and night.
It's such a tunnel vision and focus, and such a singularity in that mode, and you try to keep yourself afloat by just staying right here on the course, right here.
It's like you have to be selfish.
You kind of have to be
You have
selfish.
to.
You kind of have to be, and you have to also, the people around you, they have to understand that this is temporary. This is temporary. We're not going to be like this 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
But that little time of a fraction of time of a year, or how many times somebody competes, whatever, that's just part of it. But the good thing about it is you learn from that as well too. Like, okay, I don't want to be like this when I'm in prep anymore like this. I know I have to be focused, I have to be driven, I have to be this, but there's some things I can temper a little bit better because
you get mentally stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It teaches you. It teaches you those type of things. Just like being at work, you want to make sure you separate the work life from your bodybuilding life to a great extent. Because you already sitting there eating all day long and doing whatever at your job, but at the same time, the job comes first. That's what pays the bills.
Right.
You don't want to
like priorities.
Yeah, you got to keep those priorities in order. So hey, I'll get my meals when I get my meals in, or whatever, or whatever it is you have to do during that course of that day while you're at work. But you are at work first.
Right.
Yeah, I've never understood how people can, like, that are competing, can date somebody that's not at least involved in the gym. Like,
I thought about that at one point too.
Because like my ex-fiance before my ex-wife and my ex-wife both competed. I coached both of them. We had that connection. We prepped together sometimes, didn't other times. But like I understood and they understood.
Right.
And like we had like those fights where like we had to be like steroids. That was our code word.
Yes.
And like my girlfriend now, she competes. But like I've dated since my ex-wife, and I've dated girls that don't even work out.
Right.
And it doesn't last long. Because it's just different.
It's
just
a very different dynamic.
It's different dynamic, yeah.
Yeah.
And learning. Because I've never dated anybody that wanted to compete. This is the first person I've ever dated that had an interest in wanting to compete. So to be able to take a step back a little bit and help him with his prep when it's time for him, and then at the same time, or at the same time, be working with my prep at the same time. That's going to be a new dynamic in its own self.
Yeah.
But knowing what we know about each other, we can navigate some things.
Yeah.
But some things will be a learning curve because I don't think, like I said, he's never experienced the full-on
dedication, prep.
The full-on. He's done prep before.
Right, but not to the point to where it's like, okay, you know what? You have a competition in X amount of weeks.
Right.
And you need two.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like last 8 weeks or what it's like.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Like extra.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, especially like last month, last few weeks. Like I would be talking to somebody like this, and I'd be like, I'm so sorry. I have no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm
He'll
I'm
see me
eating
be
this
absent-minded
week.
so much sitting there and like, what was I doing? What was I
Yeah,
doing?
like you were literally washing the clothes.
And I'd just be sitting there.
The washer lid is up and it's running.
Oh, yeah. Or like
Can
you'll
you
just
not
leave-
hear that?
Yeah, you leave some like that like all day. You'd be like,
Oh,
where are
the
my
dish.
clothes?
Oh, I bet you start the washing machine and don't put no clothes in.
Oh,
Just
that's
run.
happened twice.
Just keep running, just doing whatever. So
You know what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I just thought of something.
What's
Funny story. So we had this situation going on where during your prep, I think you forgot to put washing detergent in the washing machine. Our clothes would not smell fresh.
They could not.
You didn't know like, what was going on?
And I
Put them in the
think-
dryer after that too. Like didn't even think nothing about it.
Oh, shit.
Just
I
shut
wouldn't
it.
either. I wouldn't know.
And now that we're talking
Thinking about-
like,
that's what happened.
I think that's
Yep.
probably what happened.
That's what happened. That's exactly what.
yeah.
We just
now
not
you're
realizing
realizing
because
this?
so we're sitting there realizing like we came out, we didn't. This clothes smell
Really bad.
raunchy as shit.
Oh, shit.
And we was like, "What's wrong with these? Did we not use the? We need to change the. We need to change the detergent."
Yeah. Hashtag getting old is not fun.
No. We'll chalk it up to that's
Yeah, getting old / not eating it all.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Being like 5% body fat. All the things, Yeah, that's like I had a friend once. He was like, he always talked about how people would like say you're in such great shape and all that kind of stuff, and he'd be like, man, I walk up this flight of stairs and I can't breathe. I'm just like, I have to like. I remember in between sets, I'd be like leaning on the machine.
Oh,
Just
man.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think I might have to. I puked a few times at the
Oh,
cardio.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like just from not eating enough.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
being
Or just
exhausted,
being just
hungry.
mentally and physically just exhausted. Completely.
yeah.
I used to before this past prep, I used to train more regularly at Olympus, and I would be training there a little bit later in the evening time because I was used to be so tired during prep. I would go home from work first, take a nap, wake up, and then go train. So then I would be coming home late in the evening time, and there'd be plenty of times I'd be driving down 840, tired as shit, and then you know how dark that road is, and just driving.
Oh, dude.
About to pass out and be
man.
thankful that I make it home every time. I got stopped by the police one time on Highway 109.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, because I was sitting there, I was so tired. I just my foot hit the gas pedal. I was just flooring it, just going, and I was just tired. And the police officer pulled me over, and he was like, "You realize how fast you was going?" I said, "Sir, I was going about 75." I saw what happened when he hit me with the lights.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit, I was going about 75, sir. I'm just tired, man." He's like, "I see you're tired." He said, "Where are you? Where's home?" I said, "Literally down the street, down over here, about another mile and a half." He said, "Go home. Just go to sleep. Just go home, get
That's
some bed,
nice.
go to sleep." Yeah, he let me off.
I had something similar happen once, but he was like, well, you let me search your car, then I'll let you off. And he was looking through my protein powder, like scooping shit out.
Oh,
and
wow.
stuff. Yeah, and I was like, bro, bodybuilder. And he was like, well, like I know a lot of bodybuilders like do cocaine. And all this kind of stuff.
Lord.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was just like,
All right.
yeah, and like I could not find my registration to save my life. But
Oh,
I 100%
shit.
knew it was in there. And so
Right.
like, I'm sitting there like half awake, like combing through it and just dumping shit on the front seat. And he was like, you know what, just go. He was just like,
If he got to go through all this trouble with all this,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
Just
because I was like, I
Wow.
swear to God, it's in here. You can come look with me.
Yeah,
He was just like,
exactly.
just go. I was like, thank God.
Crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
they can take me to jail just thinking I'm high.
Yeah. Well, I've got a question to ask Frank, and I've not
Okay.
really
Yes,
asked.
yes.
I've not, as an unofficial co-host of Cookie cuts.
Yes.
Cookie talk shit. Cookie talk shit.
You talk shit.
Yeah, you need to come and like interview people with me.
Yeah, there you go.
How has your life changed since you have been awarded?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I need you here more. I've been
2022.
like, I'm just gonna freeball it.
I know, right?
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
No,
How has it changed?
Yeah, yeah.
How's it changed?
Yeah.
It's been good and it's been weird. It's
How
been
so?
great and weird. The good is, being in State Tennessee because of the tradition that having that title, is rich. People will be like, oh man, Frank, I heard about you competed and you won Mr. Tennessee as a Classic Physique guy. I like you Mr. Tennessee Classic Physique. Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. And he's like, man, you know that's big. People recognize you around in the gyms and stuff like that, mm-hmm. and they that part is so great. The weird part for me is I'm not used to it,
right?
Because I'm not an attention type of guy,
right?
So,
but you only won Mr. Tennessee.
But I only won Mr. Tennessee. No. I mean, but still, it's like, of course I'm by no means some awesome guy in terms of even in the bodybuilding community. Mm-hmm. It's a drop in the bucket. Mm-hmm. It is. But just to know that I'm part of that legacy and that tradition, that this state, you would not realize it being that this is Nashville, this is Music City, mm-hmm. this is good food, this is barbecue, this mm-hmm. is all those things, and bodybuilding would be one of the last things you think about here. Mm-hmm. But here it is. It's like its own Mecca here, and literally the gym Olympus is called Mecca of the South. Mm-hmm. But it's a Mecca. This bodybuilding, you go to any city around here and you'll see IFBB pros. You'll see even natural pros. You'll see power lifters, CrossFit. I mean, well-known folks. Mm-hmm. So that to be in that conversation, even just having my title, mm-hmm. that's a blessing. And then at the same time, like I said, it's weird for me because the attention that it does get, the little bit of attention it does get, is for me because I'm not somebody that really takes to praise and all that kind of stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I kind of tightened up a little bit and kind of duck my head up underneath there.
You just like write it off, kind of.
Yeah, kind of just write it off.
Like,
yeah, just write it off.
Yeah, that's great, but I'm this.
I'm this.
You know,
exactly.
Right.
People will remind me like him. He will like Frank. To me, that is a big deal.
Yeah.
Very.
No, I mean, Mr. Tennessee, that's fucking awesome.
And
I would tell every single person I knew.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
right.
Yes. How many people are at your table? Mr. Tennessee. That's how many people are at the table.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Oh yeah, like you like I have people who'd be like, oh yeah, this guy was Mr. Tennessee and like whatever, and I look it up, and it's like 10 years ago.
10 years, exactly.
Like, they still train with him because of that.
Exactly,
like
exactly. So that's what I was talking about the legacy that leaves. Mm-hmm. You know, I had a guy tell me, and I'm gonna this is gonna be one few times I'm gonna talk shit. Actually, talk shit.
Good for you.
Good, thank you. It should be a requirement.
Yeah. I think it should be a requirement since I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah. So this guy, I'm gonna leave his name out for right now.
Or you don't have to. You can.
It's not like that many people are gonna.
I know exactly.
Yeah, say that.
You know what? Often, you know what? Oh no.
Really?
No. But so he told me. This guy told me. He said, really, you are not Mr. Tennessee in the state. That's only reserved for the bodybuilding.
Oh, God.
And I thought about that for a little bit. It kind of hit me for a second. It did. Because I was like, well, yeah, I get what he means in that aspect because the bodybuilding is that's the tradition. That's the tradition.
Okay.
That's a tradition.
Okay.
But then you start to realize he's coming from a realm where when it was only bodybuilding, yeah, that was the title at the time. But now you have Classic Physique, you have men's physique, you have...
Shit changes.
Shit changes and grows. The sport grows and evolves.
He's jealous also.
I was just going to say
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
I'm going to say it because where was he?
I mean, he won a show recently.
He won a show recently.
He won a show recently.
Was it Mr. Tennessee though?
Oh, definitely not.
Okay, then he ain't
he's
shit.
Like, the competition is not the same.
He ain't shit.
So
he ain't shit. He ain't shit.
No. No.
What's his government name?
No. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. I want this to be one of those things where, like, I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it.
No, it's not good because you sit back here and you want to you want to uplift the sport, but at the same time you want to knock the other competitors because this part is more important than this part. Bodybuilding is tradition. There is no doubt about that. No Arnold, no classic.
Right.
So that's the way I look at it. No classic, no physique.
Yeah, well, bodybuilding used to be more like classic.
Exactly, mm-hmm. And you have so much more now because it gives people more opportunity, gives more people more chance to live out that dream that they want to live out in that aspect.
Right.
You don't have to be some mass monster. I mean, do I want to look like Ronnie one day? Not me personally.
Wait, well, Ronnie Coleman now.
Not Ronnie Coleman now. I mean, not now. No. But I mean,
I saw him last year.
Oh God, you should have seen him at the Olympia.
Like,
oh my God.
Oh, bless him, Jesus.
I know,
bless
man.
Him, Jesus.
And he doesn't regret. I respect it. He doesn't regret anything about what he's done in his career. So I will say that's awesome in that aspect.
He's gonna be a meme for the rest of his life.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to be able to hold my grandkids or something like that. You know what I mean? I mean, just
walk upright.
Walk through a door without having help to walk through a door.
Yeah.
But it's like those guys literally was the ones that paved the way for me. Mm-hmm. You know, I grew up watching Lee Haney. Mm-hmm. I grew up watching Sean Ray. Mm-hmm. I grew up watching Kevin Lavroni. I grew up watching those guys. Before that, Rich Gaspari, freaking God, there's so many. I mean, it just goes on. The list goes on. And you know, even back then, the sport was growing and evolving, and it's still growing and evolving even to this day. I mean, just as a case in point, you have a all-women's show now.
Yes.
You wouldn't have had that 10 years ago.
No.
15, 20 years ago. But you literally have a all-women's fit show here in Nashville.
Right.
It's an NPC show. You wouldn't have had, and that opens the door for so many things now. So, I mean, to keep yourself limited in that one little bubble, you know what I mean? That's the one thing that really kind of irks me a little bit in that aspect. You know, you want to talk about change and growth, but reality is you are still stuck here.
So, in other words, long story short, you like being Mr. Tennessee.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
I forgot what the question was.
I know, right? Thank you.
We were talking shit about
I'm talking shit about somebody else. I forgot. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. How's it helped you, like, emotionally?
It really helped my confidence because it opened up a whole door for me in terms of how I look at what my future is in bodybuilding. Like, I would have never entertained the idea of going anything beyond the local level of bodybuilding. I was content just being a good local talent. I never really entertained the idea of even shooting for my pro card ever. But that one thing happening opened up that door. Opened up my mind in terms of, like, Frank, you know, there's more to bodybuilding or more than competition than just here. And it made me realize I don't want to be a big fish in a small pond anymore. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to be known as that guy that just competes locally and that's all he ever does. That's good for some people. I applaud him for that. But my mind got open. I think part of that is too because when I was a kid, my dad was military. We traveled a lot.
Right.
So when you travel, you open your mind. So the same thing happened in the bodybuilding. When I was blessed enough to win that title, it opened my mind up saying, you know what? That's conquering one mountain, but now I'm at the base of another mountain.
Right.
And I want more for myself. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care. I told him not even a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I want to go for my pro card. You know, when I get my pro card, because at one point I was even saying this at point. I said, once I get my pro card, I'll call it quits.
Right.
Now I want to compete as a pro.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to set that example. You know, I want to be that guy that says, yeah, this sport is ageless and timeless. It doesn't matter when you start. It doesn't matter when you know, what walk of life you come from, you know, anything, whatever setbacks you had leading up to this, you know, if you want this, you can do this. You have to put in that much more work, but it can be achieved and it can be done.
Right.
And that's the part that really just kind of just resonated with me more and more, and made me hungry, made me want to do more, made me want to get up. Like that sign up there that literally says "Wake up and kick ass." That is literally how I feel. I'm so motivated every time.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels like that. Like every time I get up, we get up. We hate to get up in the morning, but we get up. We go. I hate to get up and go do cardio in the morning. I get up and go do cardio in the morning. I hate eating the same meals every day. I do it anyway because that's part of the formula that will get me my success.
Right. Well, let me ask you this question really quick.
He's taking over your show.
No, I like it. I'm happy with it. Keep going.
No,
We're
I'm
just
sorry.
talking. Yeah, we're just talking.
Sorry,
No, keep going.
I'm not a control freak. 15 years have gone by. Where do you see yourself in bodybuilding, and what do you think you'll be doing with your bodybuilding? Because, you know, much like we all know Beyonce. We all know who that person is, okay? We all know Janet Jackson, Celine Dion. God, I'm gay. Okay. Those women cannot perform forever, okay? We all know that most people into bodybuilding that have won all of these trophies and medals and swords and belts and you name it, they've won it. They can only compete but for so long. Where do you see yourself when it comes to bodybuilding? What do you think you'll be doing in the next 10, 15 years later on down the road with this bodybuilding?
I like the idea of always being able to give back. So just having a good...
Oh my gosh, she's pretty.
What'd you expect?
How are you? Jeez. How are you?
That's not what he said when he walked inside.
He has turned now.
Oh, no. I'm still a homosexual.
Where do I see myself 15 years from now? I just want to be that person that gives back. I just want to give back. Always wanting to give back. I want to keep on doing something for the sport. My overall goal, and I think me and you've talked about this before, is I want to be a posing coach.
Yeah.
You know, that is something that I always want to do. I want to help people the way people have helped me in certain realms. I know I'm not a great nutritionist. I probably could do it if I wanted to do study nutrition.
Totally
I probably could do the personal training if I wanted to. That's something he's wanted to do. But I want to do something different. And I know for me that is seemingly my realm. So long after we're done actively being on stage and competing, that is something that I want to do to give back in terms of the bodybuilding side of the fence.
Okay.
15 years from now, that is something I want.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, that's my bread and butter.
Do you know what's the oldest guy to go pro? Do you know?
Do I know the
have no
oldest
idea.
guy to go pro?
Yeah, like what age?
I want to say there was a guy in his 60s not too
Probably.
long ago that went pro.
Yeah, we should Google it.
And that by itself is incredible to me.
Yeah.
I
was
mean,
curious.
a lot of times you go to there are, I think it's one or two main shows for guys over, well, they consider masters over 35 now pro.
Oh yeah.
So there's
Masters next year.
yeah, the Masters the show I'm doing next year, which will be the Masters Nationals in Pittsburgh. That one I think starts at 35 plus and then builds up from there. I know some guys that are 55 plus, 65 plus that are still competing, actively competing, and doing those national level shows. So, this is timeless. And then there's the North Americans, which they have a Masters division as well too, I believe. And you can get your pro card there as well too. But of course, you can do it in the open divisions, of course, and all the stuff like that. But
so you can go pro and masters.
But you can go
I
pro
didn't
masters.
realize
You can,
that. Okay.
and they actually have masters competitions as well too.
For like Masters Pro.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They do have Masters Pro shows.
That's cool.
So that's pretty. I mean, I wish they had some more closer to Nashville.
Yeah.
I would think there's a good. What's the word I'm looking for? Good.
Community for it.
Yeah, exactly,
Something like that.
exactly. I know a couple of guys in just one gym alone that are IFBB Pro who are in their 40s and 50s. You know, and that opens your eyes. Like, if they look in tremendous shape, you know. And I was like, if they can do it, I know I should be able to do this.
Good.
I should.
Well, tell us about Tennessee Pre. That's your sponsorship, yes?
Yeah, there you go. shout them out. Maybe they'll repost me.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Tennessee Pre is a local company here. Hans Bellew, Dr. Hans Bellew, he's the owner. We've been communicating, and long before I even moved here to Tennessee.
That's cool.
We were like chatting off and on, but not really to the point we are now, where, you know, after the show, it's like, Frank, you'd be perfect. You know, you'd be perfect for this. Let's work together and let's get some stuff done. So it's been a blessing working with Tennessee Pre. They got good products, at least in my opinion. The pre-workouts.
You mean their products are amazing, and everyone at home watching this should probably buy some.
Yeah, I've actually never used the Tennessee.
Don't worry, I got you covered. I got you.
Oh yes, Tennessee.
I think they would be nice enough that they would send you some, because it's a podcast.
Tennessee Pre is amazing.
Dr. what?
Dr. Hans Bellew.
There we go, Hans. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Hans or Hans?
Hans.
Okay. See, I said it right, so maybe.
Yeah.
Instagram Tennessee Pre or Pre Tennessee.
Tennessee Pre.
Tennessee Pre.
Okay.
Do they have more than just pre-workout?
They have a what's it? They just came out with a like a BCAA powder, basically energy BCAA powder.
That's cool.
And they also, they have a non-stem pre-workout in there. But he's been focusing on those three main products.
Cool.
Yeah,
Pre is really one of the few, pre and protein.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with pre or proteins. You can get those out, and that's the main things that most of us as bodybuilders, we just want to make sure we have the energy to be able to function in the gym and have the energy and the stamina and the focus to do that. And so far, like, I've never had any issue with none of that with that stuff. Even the non-stem, like, I can focus and work out with it with no problem. So
it's hard to find a good pre also. Like there's so many companies.
So many
pre now, and like
so many.
So many people, like even like coaches on my level make supplements and sell them and all that. So it's hard to find. It's hard to go.
And the thing is, I think what it is, the best thing about a lot of this stuff, especially when it's like homegrown stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you want to support it. If something like your business.
Yeah.
You want to support, because it's here, it's home, it's somewhere. It's the atmosphere here is great. You want to be a part of it. You want to support it, and those people people want to feel that way when they when they're looking for something or something that they need to hold on to in terms of even training community. Yeah, it's in the community. It's in the community.
And I know what you mean, because I love Houston, Texas, because that's where Beyonce is from.
We're not talking about Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Houston, Texas?
He's not from Houston, Texas.
No, I'm not.
Beyonce, we'll tag Beyonce. I'll tag Beyonce too. I highly doubt she's gonna give a fuck. But
yeah, exactly.
So one thing I wanted to ask. So I know, of course, whatever you're comfortable talking about, but I know you kind of mentioned like when you came out to me once. I don't know. You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to.
No. This is cool with me. I came out to my parents basically in 2005. They were the only ones actually that I came out to. And technically, as of right now, the whole world now knows. So that part is new for me. But the best part of doing that part for me is, and I know he's a little uncomfortable because he's been out. But for me, especially since meeting him, I want him to feel included in everything in my life. I never want to shelter the people, the person I love, or shelter anything about that person, because that's the whole gist of it.
Good.
So you want to what's the word I'm looking for? You want to celebrate life, because tomorrow I can drop dead right here, and there's always gonna be what ifs in my life in that aspect. But that's not gonna be one of them.
Right.
I want people to understand, and there's gonna be a lot of people when this comes out. They're gonna. He's nervous about it. That's what he's nervous for me about.
Yeah, of course I'm nervous. I mean, because this is, it's no longer about me. and myself. It's about someone whom I love and care for, and I'm not going to get emotional. This is someone that I care more for than my own well-being and myself. And I want Frank to succeed. I want him to further his career in bodybuilding. I already understand how the bodybuilding community will treat him. I know how finicky and fickle bodybuilding companies can be. I already know this, and I don't want. I don't want. Yeah, I don't want that to suffer.
Happy.
Yeah. So
I get that.
when this does come out, am I nervous now? Yeah. Will I be nervous when I hear this in complete form and edited version? Yes, I'll be very nervous. But myself, when I came out, I mean, it was 2001, and I made sure that my apartment was in my name, my car was in my name. I didn't want my parents to cut me off, so I made sure, all of my accounts were in my name. And when I told them, they quote unquote said, "Well, we already knew that." But I guess when you do your mom's hair when you're in the 4th grade, that does kind of send a signal.
My mom actually told me when I told her, my mom was like, "Well, I guess we ain't having no grandkids." I said, "Never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never."
Adoptions for
Adoptions, surrogates. I mean, there's so many advantages now that we didn't have even 20, 30 years ago. But you don't. And how I always justified it for me was I never want what I did to go back on the people that I love, my parents. I never wanted anything to affect them because we have a very, very strong.
small community.
Yeah. I mean, it's me, my mom, my dad. We are a strong unit, and even today.
Yeah.
So we pride ourselves with that. And in the black community, and I'm gonna touch on this for 1 second, and I'm gonna jump right on off of it. We have a certain stigma in terms of masculinity and being gay.
Absolutely.
We are drilled to the point where we're saying, is this anything that's outside of masculinity or outside of being what the quote-unquote strong black man is not that thing.
Right. And it can be something very small and minute by putting on your chapstick a certain way, or you're wearing cologne, or you're not showing your underwear when you have pants on, you're actually wearing a belt. It's such in the black community, it is this way and this way only, in no other way. And
that's a lot of people, and it took a long time for me. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, it took a long time for me to what's the word I'm looking for? Adjust.
Yeah,
adjust. Yeah,
adapt.
And be happy with myself. And even then, like, I only told my mom and my dad. I didn't tell the rest of the world. And, they knew about it, but of course they're not going to say nothing to nobody else.
Right.
But it is what it is. I mean, I understood that, and when I told them, I was like, well, this is just for y'all's benefit, and as long as y'all two know, I'm happy, I'm good. And at that time, I didn't, if I dated somebody or anything like that, whatever, which never happened, it would be one of those things where we're like, okay, well, we just keep this just amongst
between us. Yeah.
And my world opened up so much more. Not just being here in Tennessee, but just in general, just as the years progressed, and we're like going back to what we were saying earlier, in this thing, I got more years behind me than I have ahead. So how can I live my life to the fullest if I'm not doing that?
Right.
So
true to yourself.
You gotta being true to yourself. That's definitely a thing, but more so, even just being true to yourself, just being happy with your true self. Because you can be true to yourself all day long. That's
absolutely.
That's the easy part. Honestly, that's the easy part, being true to yourself. But, like, truly being happy in that realm and being able to just, you know what, it is what it is.
Right.
If people are gonna accept it, they're gonna accept it. The people that love you, they're gonna love you regardless. The people that actually mean something, they're gonna mean something.
Right. And I mean, and my parents, even at the age of 43 with myself, they still have some slight issues with me being gay. And I'm not a drag queen. I don't have a pride sticker on my car. I don't go to any gay bars. I'm in bed usually by 8 o'clock on Saturday night. I'm just that tired. But it's just the fact of my mom, especially my mother, well, Andrew, just make sure you're not doing this. And it's like, well, I'm almost prepared to enter my AARP years, So if I've gotten through life from this point on, I'm doing okay. But I just recently came out to my dad's side of the family a few months ago, and I never told my dad, did not tell my aunts, didn't tell my cousins, and surprisingly, they were actually very okay with it. Good. And my parents divorced when I was 4. And and we were very much estranged growing up. But as I grew up and became older, we became a little bit closer, more and more as the years progressed. And when I told my dad, he said, "Well, I think I kind of knew that." And I told my aunts, who are pretty much like my moms. I mean, we have a great relationship. They were very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. My cousin included. So I've gotten a lot of embrace from my family. But again, it's still a black family. And there's that stigma that we still hold in the community. So thankfully, because I look the way that I do, it throws a lot of people off. Yeah. I'm sure when you speak to me, you're like, oh, yeah, well... Yep, he is.
And it's just not a just upfront conversation. Like me telling you even like about me was not the upfront conversation. It was just the bodybuilding, the working out stuff, learning about personal training, all the other stuff like that. Help out with posing, all that stuff like that, whatever. Yeah. That's just a side piece of my personal life. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything that goes along with it.
It shouldn't change the way people view you.
It does, because I think, and that's a lot. I think sometimes people see the stigma. I remember this. I can say this for sure. One of the things that I hated as a kid, we talked about this. It was a couple of days ago, matter of fact. Remember that movie Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah.
There was this character on the Revenge of the Nerds that was a flamboyantly gay dude.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys.
I haven't seen it in a while.
And it's an old movie. If you and any of you younger guys check out that movie, it's stupidly hilarious. But it's not. Okay, so anyway, yeah. But they had this guy that was flamboyantly gay,
overly.
Yeah, and just that was the thing that you did not want to be.
Okay.
That's not what you looked at that and you were like, you don't want to be that there. And that was something that scared the shit out of me. Wow. Right. And that was and then fast forward, and I'm gonna say this, and my dad, I love my dad to death. How do I say this? I just say it like this. My dad was military, so a lot of those things that he looked at, in terms of masculinity, that was drilled into me. So. Yeah. You never want anything outside of that to infiltrate into you. My dad loved me to death. My dad loves me to death. But during that time years ago, because all you saw was those very stereotypical things. That's what it was, like, you better not grow up. I will beat you. Because those type of situations, and you don't want that. Even when you get that into your system, you're like, okay, well, then I'm not. That's not going to happen. I still might have these feelings, but I just suppress them.
So you feel like some shame, I guess.
Right.
You felt shame.
Honestly.
And then, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Keep going.
And since then, that has completely changed. I think a lot of times is growth on both sides, confidence on both sides, a lot of love on both sides, and just that support on both sides of the fence. Say, hey, look, Pop, this is what I'm about. And on his side, I should never said that to you. but you know, and you know, I will always love you, and I will always support you. He's actually his biggest proponent. Like, he asked about him when he asked about me.
Yeah.
So that's
cool, though.
that's the cool. Yeah, exactly. So that just goes to show you that those older stereotypes from back in the day, those played a big part of what a lot of people did or did not do back then. It's, like I said, in the black community, and that's the last time I'm gonna say this. That's something that we just were not allowed. Mm-hmm. That was just not allowed at all. If you were, you know, that you were ostracized. You were the black sheep of the family. Mm-hmm. You were, to a lot of people, you were dead to a lot of family
Absolutely.
members. And
Absolutely.
that was sad. That was so sad to see that. You know, and those things you see as a kid and growing up, and you're like, nah, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be kicked out by my own family just because I have a feeling or that, whatever. So you keep it in until there's a point in your life where you just, you know, what do? Do you keep it in or do you let it go? How do you address it? How do you take care of it? Do you know, some people go seek professional help. Some people go do all those things. Some people actually sit down and have a conversation. You know, and those are things that you know that we did as our family we did, and those things which made us act, like I said, those things made us a stronger unit even to this day. I mean, I can say this. I would not be the complete person I am today without my folks. That is definitely the truth.
Good.
Because
That's awesome.
they gave me the courage. They gave me everything that I needed. They taught me well and taught me to the point where when I finally came into my own, I was able to come back with them. And that's what they wanted. I think that's what they always wanted me to be. And once that happened, our relationship grew even more because then they saw the confident side. They saw the person that knew what he was doing, that knew what he was talking about. He has his dreams, abilities, accomplishments, everything.
Right.
So,
well, last question before we end this segment.
Oh, it's his show.
It's not my show.
No, ask your question. Ask your question, please.
Before we head
Make it
out,
way better.
what is your last bit of inspirational thought that you would like to give to the people?
What?
Just something that you would like to share. Just something inspirational.
I wouldn't know what to say to that.
Something.
I don't.
Something
because
that
I am the
because
least.
and the reason why I ask that is because somebody is looking at this and they're wanting to be Mr. Tennessee. So what is something inspirational that you can say to that person?
That is true.
I'm looking at that again.
Look
Wake
at it.
up
Yeah, go
and
for
kick.
it.
Yeah, wake up and
Oh,
kick
I thought
ass.
it's
Wake up and kick ass. And that's the thing that you have to get in your mindset. I don't care what it is in life. Bodybuilding for me was that wake up and kick ass, but it also opened the door for everything else. Because if it wasn't for that type of structure I would not have my structure and everything else that I do. So you find what that is. You wake up in the morning. You decide at that point, I'm not gonna let anything else stress me out. Anything else get under my skin. I'm not gonna let anything else derail me from what my goals are, and just take that shit by the horns and just do it and just make it happen. You have the tools in front of you because if that's something you want, you've been working at it. You start doing little things, gathering pieces, and then next thing you know, you got it.
Right.
You're getting it and you put it together. Look at this. You know, the shit that he's got set up in here is a prime example of that to me.
Good.
That's motivating to me to wake up and kick ass. Because
Good.
I literally look at all this shit that he's done in here, and he's put all together from scratch basically, and reaching out, and the people in the community reached out to him and reached back and gave, and it worked out so well.
Good.
So to the point where, you know, you think 2022 is good, you wait till see 2023.
Hopefully 2023 is better.
Yeah, exactly.
Fingers crossed, no fires.
Yeah, they not. We know not to do that, so that's not going to happen.
I got a fire thing over there. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I got cameras, you know,
cameras and everything
yeah.
over here. So yeah, it's not,
Well,
Ring camera.
so hold on. I want to you know what? Can I ask?
He's dropping inspiration.
I know, right? I actually want to ask you this question, actually, and because this is like I said, this is his show.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I
But
I like it.
what I like about you is you got this whole just this vibe of you just open and you just drill and you just go and you know no matter whatever goes on with you, you just keep going, keep going. What is that for you?
Well, I mean, I think it's the same as like when you said it's weird for you to have people come talk to you about being Mr. Tennessee. It's I write it off. You know, like for me, I'm not always going. I'm always struggling. I fall down all the time, fail all the time, and I think I just feel like I'm just kind of like running off steam half of the time, you know. And so like I think it's nice to hear, but it's also like I think large part of that's kind of like the whole imposter syndrome thing. You know, it's like we worked our asses off to achieve some things that we have, you know, and it's really easy to, I guess, just tell yourself it's not enough, or like, but I have this, or like, but I struggle with this still, you know, and it's something that like I know about myself in a lot of ways. Like, you know, you're Mr. Tennessee, you know, you earned it, but it's still weird, you know, and it still feels like it's not you.
Yeah.
It still feels like it was a mistake, you know, that you just kind of fell into it, you know,
Kind of.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, that's just your emotions telling yourself bullshit, you know,
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
just your mind telling yourself, you know, and
Right.
like you were saying with mindset, I think the way we view things and respond to things in our perspective, and you know the way we take things can completely change the situation or the subject, you know, and like how it affects us, you know, because like you said, like you have to wake up and kick ass every day and have that mindset, you know, in order to achieve some of the things we have, and it's really easy not to do that.
Right.
You know, it's really easy to like. It's easy to go to the negative. You know, like
Oh, yeah.
even though
It's a failsafe.
yeah, even though like working on yourself and growing and learning is what in the long run will help you the most, it does not feel that way.
Right.
Even though like logically we know that, our emotions lie to us. I feel like. But one thing I want to say about you guys is like it's weird for me hearing like some of your struggles with coming out and stuff. It really is because you know just the way movies are, TV, and like the way like I have a lot of friends, clients that are gay like for years.
Right.
But like thinking about it, most of them have been white, you know, and so do you feel like it's harder to come out as a gay man, like being black?
No, I
Like,
mean, I
or
think in
the black
today's
community, you were
society,
kinda saying,
I think it's easier. I think it's
Right.
easier in this society because it's more, I don't want to say accepted, but it is. But there are so many varieties.
But even then, like in the black community, do you feel like just still it's harder than?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something
I
new
do.
that I haven't heard that really.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
and
it's
so I feel like
harder.
a lot of people
I
have
think
it,
it's
you know?
Well, I mean,
But it makes sense.
There was a clip on, I believe it was TikTok, where this young kid, and he was quite feminine, and they lived in the projects, and they were out on the front porch, and I believe his mother was filming him, and she was berating him and making fun of him and cursing him out, and this kid, probably 90 pounds soaking wet, maybe 13, 12. And his uncle decided that he was going to make a man out of him and just wailed on him. I mean, punched him in the chest, closed fist, slapped him. His mom is, you know, encouraging it. And later on, CPS came, they arrested the mom, and they arrested the uncle, and they took the child out of the home. But that was a clear sign that it's still the same. This kid, he didn't come out, he was just very feminine.
Yeah.
And his own family, his own flesh and blood did that to him and put it online. So I do feel in today's society it is harder. And no offense to the music, but I do, and I sound like an old person, but Lil Nas X and these other gay rappers, they're not making it any easier, in my opinion. It's just it's almost as if they're putting on a show, and their listeners are falling for it, and they're thinking that because he's up there on stage and he's doing it, it's going to be this easy. For me, it's not. Coming out to my parents was not an easy thing. Me coming out to my father at 43, and my father is 72, that was not easy. But for younger kids, I think it's still the same. Back from when it was in the late 70s, early 80s, mid 90s.
So you think maybe it's more accepted with other people, but it's like in your own family, it's like, but that doesn't happen here. You know, so I don't know.
For me, I think what it is it's just a generational thing more than anything else to me. I say it's easier for the generations now because of the generations before in that aspect, because of the stuff that they had to fight through to get this. Because I mean, honestly, I mean, besides meeting you, I would not have had that courage. I probably would have still stayed exactly where I was at in my lane in that aspect. Because it was just easier for me to live my life and just absorb myself in those things outside of my social life.
Right.
So it went much more easier to just go ahead and just, just brush it off and keep going. But I think in my particular story, that's what it was. But I do believe that the outlets are more prevalent now. It's just that when you have culture to tradition and culture mixed together in that aspect, it does make it harder for certain people.
Of course.
It makes it harder for certain. I imagine Italian families probably go through the same thing to an extent. I imagine, like, I think there's even certain, like, you go outside the country, like, I think even Africans, I know that's like the wrong
I
thing.
know
That's like, you don't do that.
No.
Or even, I think I don't want to talk about other cultures. I don't know for sure. But I'm pretty sure other cultures, literally, you are castrated. So,
Sure they are.
I mean, I think that's just culture.
Yeah.
And, until, like everything else, until people are more educated and have a more sense of growth.
I think what's different will always be hated on
Hated
by certain
on.
people.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like
Yeah.
anything that doesn't align with exactly what the fuck that person wants and thinks.
Yeah.
Some people are just gonna fucking hate
Right.
on it.
Well, even with my mother, and I mean, again, I've not lived with my mother in years. And, she remarried, and they've been married for over 25 years, I believe. And his family, well, don't tell them. Don't tell them. Or they don't know about you. Or they've even asked me, can you take your ring off? That is a hurtful thing to say. So, in my opinion, still, and my mother is 66, 60 something. She still has that mentality of whatever happens in this house stays in this house.
And to a certain extent, that's true. But there's growth.
Right.
And there's life. And there's things that are going on outside the household. Especially when you have children, people are grown out and they go out and they do their own thing.
Right, but I mean, I have hair growing out of my ears. I'm that grown.
Yeah, like, leave me alone.
So
I have a car in my name now. Finally,
I'm real
property.
grown.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm. You don't have to worry about me.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
I pay taxes, so I.
You see that new Optimus Prime now? No, I'm stopping.
Yeah. So I mean, but my mother doesn't have to worry about me. I know she does. My mother and I are very close. We speak to each other several times a day.
Oh shit.
And if she doesn't speak to him, she'll call me.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it's a lot of time.
Yeah, I love my mother. My mother and
Okay,
I,
cool, hey.
like Kylie Jenner said, I'm my mother's favorite. It's me, my mother, and the Sunsets. My other brothers don't even exist. It's just us.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, that's cool. That's awesome to have that relationship.
Yeah,
They're
but
very
again,
much-
she's very much in that whole mode of, don't make sure you don't tell, and make sure you don't say that person's name.
And then the thing is, what we realize even at that point when people are doing that, they're being protective of you.
They are, to a certain extent.
They're being protective of your brand. Is that the word I can use?
The brand, yes, I'm a brand.
And they don't want you to be, like you were saying earlier, you don't want the negative backlash to affect because of your life. And I get, and that part is, I understand that part. As a parent, I can see that part.
Right, but also as a parent, they need to understand that we're still their babies. You will be your parents' baby. You will be your parents' baby. Sorry. But we grown. We are going to make our own mistakes. God knows I've made mistakes. At 19 years old, at 22 years old, at 28 years old, I've made mistakes. In my 30s, I've made more mistakes in my 20s. Now I'm coming down off those mistakes, and I'm actually being a responsible adult now in my 40s. Parents really need to understand that. Don't love us any less. Don't push us away if we say, you know what, get off my back for a little bit. We're just adults. We're adults. We're grown. Yeah. And we're fine.
Right.
We've not had any lynches. We've not had any cross burnings. We've not had any, ropes hanging in the tree. We've not had none of that. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I thought that was real.
No, it's foam, bro. They're stick-ons. Yeah. That's kind of cool. Amazon.
Oh, there you go. See,
that looks so real.
Yeah, they got tons of different designs and stuff.
Really?
Maybe like $100 total.
there you go.
Really?
Looks good, don't it? Looks good, don't it?
Okay.
Well, I think we're running low on battery.
Okay.
We've been talking so much.
Anyway,
yeah.
so listen,
We'll wrap it up.
thank you so much for inviting us on the show.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. Seriously, this is my first one.
It's his first
So
show.
excited.
So this is his show.
It's our show.
Yeah, I love
this
it.
episode is our episode.
Yay.
And just
I do
fun.
expect residuals.
He gave you pizza. He has pizza.
If I get paid, you will.
Yay.
That's not gonna happen, but
Yeah, exactly.
Because me and
I'm
Mama
gonna have you back on.
Me and Mama don't play with our money.
He sounds like a pimp.
blame you.
Sounds like a pimp. Straight up, just pimp.
Well, listen, thank you so much for having us.
thank you guys
This has
for
been
being
great.
open
because
and honest.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
I know it's tough.
This is what we wanted to
thank
talk
you.
about. You know,
Shed
like I
light
said, we
on it.
want to get things out for our chest, and hopefully, like I said, the more topics that you are able to have, and the things that you can do with this, man, you gonna
Like,
just
open people's eyes.
yeah, exactly. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And just enjoy the shit, because this is something that is yours.
Thanks.
And this is something. I mean,
excited.
yeah,
That's cool,
exactly.
huh?
It's,
That's cool,
it's
man.
so
I love that
fucking
thing,
cool.
man.
But I also think that we should say cookie cuts with the gay guy.
No.
Oh yeah.
With the little rainbow.
If we start making enough money, then we will add that. Yeah. I'll get a fucking rainbow. I don't give a shit.
And
Yeah.
we could actually split
Like,
the room in half.
That time of the month,
Yes, we could split the room in half.
time
And it
of-
could be
that time of-
dark and dungeony. And then on my side, pink
Rainbows.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
Abercrombie
A
and
mannequin wearing this year's fashions. Just stuff.
I'll buy you a fucking mannequin if we start.
Yay!
I'm in the middle of this.
Unfortunately, but fortunately, you're our last guest for this season.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We're not gonna. No. I hope that we can get together and talk some more different stuff for real.
No,
'Cause this has been great.
Absolutely.
This has been
No,
great.
I appreciate you guys being open and honest because, I know, I've lost jobs because I've talked about my suicide attempts. I've been judged for different things that people should not be judged for.
Yes.
And people should not be treated differently for.
Yeah.
No.
And that fucking sucks. And, coming at it too hard scares people away and pushes them. And then
Right.
coming off too nice makes you fucking walk over.
Well, yeah, walk
So
over.
it's hard to
exactly.
know, how to approach people and how to talk to people about this shit.
Right.
But
so-
I think the whole being genuine is that's just the
just-
key of it all.
Just talking about it, being saying that kind of shit. I don't know what the fuck to say, but
It's
hey,
we just gonna put it out there, and
Right.
it's just what's gonna happen.
Congratulations,
If
Well,
Yeah.
the second show, we're going to talk about Janet Jackson and why she's just now releasing new music, but she's going on tour.
I'm totally gonna have you back as a interviewee helper. I don't know how to say that. What's the word for that?
Your
assistant,
co-host.
Co-host. There we go.
Oh no! Be careful what you
I've
wish
got a
for.
second job.
I'll just have you back there with
Cue
cue
cards.
cards.
Keep
Yeah,
it
you
stay on
write.
track.
Cue cards.
You just have him just
He
stay
wants
out
to
there,
be. He
yeah.
wants to be the face.
Yeah, I work
Co-face.
hard.
We have a good look. Ebony and Ivory. Can we sing that song one day?
We can.
With we get a piano, and my side can be white and your side can be black.
There you go.
Why I gotta be black?
I've always,
Well, how about you have
I'll
a
be
white
black,
piano? How about you?
be white.
There you go. You have a white
black,
piano. You have a
you
black
be
piano.
white.
We're good to go.
Yay!
Yeah, I saw
Bringing
a movie.
races together's fun.
I saw a TV show where a white and black guy sang Ebony and Ivory, and I always wanted.
Oh
to
no!
do that.
How about the old Wayans brothers?
Yeah.
Don't do that intro.
Don't.
Don't do that.
I don't know about
We're
Wayans. Like
This
that's TikTok.
But see, this is why he's not coming back on our show.
Yeah. Like maybe like once you're Mr. Tennessee for the second time.
Yeah, then we can come back.
Once you get his free pre-workout,
when he becomes Mr. Tennessee next year in 2023, hopefully.
There we go.
But it'll just be me on the show, interviewing myself.
Well, then he'll be the partner next time.
There you go.
All right, well, thank you guys.
Well, thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Fuck something up.
Absolutely.
Hopefully this worked.
Yeah, it works.
Guys,
You're good at editing, I'm sure. You'll do fine.
I have YouTube, so
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Oh my God.
My ears are high.
I know.
We did not realize that how long was that?
That was over.
120.
Hell yeah.
2 hours?
George.